Good morning, everyone. I'm Megan Culp, along here with Scott Micklin.
Yes, good morning. Did you forget?
No.
Oh.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
No, I don't know. Sometimes you just get tripped up, you know?
Right.
It's
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's week 13.
Right. Yeah. Normally,
is-
I'm quite loquacious and verbally fluid, I would think.
You are. Yes.
However, I was like,
Today,
Scott.
Little, whatever his name is.
Micklin.
What's his name?
What's
over
his
there.
name?
Yeah, that's
I'm
okay.
I'm along here
That
with
guy. Over
yeah.
there. Yeah. Anyway, it is Wednesday, June 10th, by the way. So just so we all have a baseline to start from
Yes.
here. And here we are with the COVID-19 local information program
Yes,
on
we
KSJE. And so today we've got the mayor.
Yeah.
Farmington
we haven't
Mayor.
heard from Mayor Nate Duckett in a while.
We have not. I think he's been on my program, the 8 o'clock show.
Yeah.
But maybe not have called into this show in a while.
It's been like 10 weeks.
That's okay. Is it really?
Yeah, I think he was like week 3 or 4 or something.
Could have been. Okay. Well, he's back.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about cleaning. So how about
Totally
that?
apropos for these times that we find ourselves in.
There you go. Exactly. We have a request on Facebook already. Someone is asking how to spell loquacious.
Oh, L.
But they spelled it in the comment.
No, what? I think there's an O in there somewhere.
Another
Not an-
O?
Yeah, like, isn't it low? What? But who is this? Is this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. They're anonymous on the screen.
Okay.
But
well, they probably also have access to Google.
well, I'm sure they do.
Okay.
Anyway,
So.
but they're paying
Which I
attention.
don't, in
But
front
they're
of me.
paying attention, so we're on notice
Right.
that
right.
our viewers are watching.
Yeah,
and
I
they're
used it
paying
in a
attention.
sentence, and they spelled it. It's perfect.
Yeah,
We should team up and go to like a spelling bee or something.
when we get to do them again.
When we get
sure.
to do, I know
I'll
that
make
the
on
whole,
my-
I
on
know
my
the
after
nation.
quarantine list.
Yeah, I know the nation is mourning the lack of spelling bees these days.
As thus they should.
They
Yeah,
should.
they should be doing that.
Those are fun.
They are fun. I've been a pronouncer at spelling bees.
I bet you have.
Yeah.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah. Did you? Okay.
You get to do all sorts of cool
Yeah.
things.
Micklin.
Michlin.
You got it. There you go.
Do you want me to try to use it in a sentence?
My
Maybe
co-host
not
is
right
so
now.
obnoxious.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Oh, Scott Micklin.
Yeah, there you are. Anyway, I was going to call up some numbers
Yes.
here before
There
we
it is.
get
Hello.
going. There,
Okay.
thank you very
Anyway.
much. Someone found the Google.
Cool.
There you are. Let's see, there for people, and now that's the word you can use today, everybody, in your conversations.
Word of the day.
Loquacious. There you go. Work it into a sentence. And good luck with that. Okay. Let's take a look at
Great.
what we're talking about here. Our numbers, again, from the Department of Health at ksje.com. 124 additional cases reported yesterday across our state for 9,062 COVID-19 cases. Of that, 26 more in San Juan County, and so it's 1,990. Deaths are now at 400, with additional 4 yesterday, and there was 1 additional death in San Juan County, and so that is where that is. 73 recoveries for 3,380 yesterday.
Cool.
So there's that. And then, of course, we put in some of the other information about 9 new cases in San Juan County yesterday and 1 additional death in San Juan County. So
Got it.
there is that information. So that's not jiving with what I just showed you. But okay. The numbers are a little off.
Okay.
But they're accurate. They may just be maybe a day behind one of those
Maybe.
one of those sets of numbers.
Right.
So I'm going to refresh that again. The other interesting note that I wanted to show was the Navajo Nation updated its numbers yesterday, and that is actually up to date. 6,150 with 8 additional deaths across the Navajo Nation. But then this graph that I thought was interesting because they finally have showed kind of
Yeah, graphs. It's been a while since we got a good graph.
right. And so let me call that up real quick as I take this off the screen for just a moment as we get it zoomed in here
Well,
more that we can see.
I've got some national numbers.
Do you now? Okay. What do you got?
As of Tuesday night, 1,985,670 cases of COVID, which is an increase, again, of 25,000.
Okay.
So, again, it's in that range.
Right.
The 18 to 25,000 range. And we are up to 111,989 deaths. An increase of almost 1,000 from yesterday. And again, this is from the Johns Hopkins University dashboard.
They've been kind of recording all that since it began, really, right? And so
Yep, they're pretty much the flagship.
They are.
As far as that goes.
Right. We've seen a lot of places that have large outbreaks of more positive cases, and I'm looking at you, Arizona, and I'm looking at you, Florida, and I'm looking at you, Texas. Those are some of the hot spots at the moment across the country.
Yeah, like a resurgence type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Just more cases. So anyway, going back to our website and what we shared from the Navajo Nation, this I thought was interesting because I broke it down into the service areas of the Navajo Nation, and so still kind of hard to see on our graph.
You're going to have to zoom in there.
I'm trying, but the top line there, the more turquoise line for our viewers, is Kayenta.
Okay.
All right. And then the next line, which is the dark blue line, is Chinle.
Okay.
Across the Navajo Nation, right? And then if you look at the next line would be purple, and that's the Gallup area, again on the reservation. Then we kind of have maybe like a dark red line, that's Crown Point.
Right.
Which is south of Farmington.
I would say a nice burgundy.
Okay, there you go. Then the orange line is Shiprock.
Okay. Yep.
Okay, you can see that. And then we kind of have a darker blue line, which is Tuba City, which is the far west part of the reservation. And then we kind of have those other two lines at the very bottom. The kind of green line is Fort Defiance, which is just in the Window Rock area. And then the darker burgundy, or brown,
yeah,
would be the Winslow
that has
area.
more purple
Okay.
thing going on.
Okay. But that would
Anyway.
The bottom line is Winslow, Arizona, which is another reservation portion in Arizona.
Right.
So I think we hadn't seen that. I had not seen that before in that presented that way with the cases across the
I
reservation.
only know Winslow, Arizona from the Eagles.
The song, the famous
Yes,
song,
the
Standing
famous
on the
song.
Corner
Right.
in Winslow, Arizona.
That's right.
Yeah, and they have a little statue there.
They do.
Yeah. Have you done that yet? Since
Oh,
you've been
yeah.
here?
Yeah.
You did? Okay. You need to do that.
I've basically covered all of Route 66. But anyway, I want to
Yeah.
point out. Oh,
Okay,
you
you-
took it off.
It's back.
Okay. Well, I'm also pointing out for our radio listeners.
Yes.
That the important part is that it's all trending up, basically, except for the Tuba City one. It seems to like flatten a bit,
Right.
but the others are still.
they're still kind
They're
of
trending up. They're not like
kinda-
steep trending up.
There is kind of a
But-
flattening, though, I think, on some of those lines.
Yeah, I'm
To a
trying to
certain
think of
degree.
something that we can compare it to.
The Kayenta line is flatter. It's up,
That's
but it's
true.
flat.
That's true.
So I think there's that to look at. And then Crown Point is kind of trending a little bit down. And even Tuba City looks to be a little bit flattening. So, But that may make us maybe try to book someone from the Navajo Nation Department of Health
That would be great.
who could maybe put some more context into this
That would
data.
be wonderful.
So we'll reach out to them
Good.
and see. So stay tuned, everybody. We'll see if we can't do that.
That would be a good idea.
So yeah. So we'll see how
So
that.
that we're not just like, well, I don't know. By my looks, it's
Right.
very parabolic.
Exactly. So let's see. I was going to remind the mayor to call in
Yeah, that would
because
be
he hasn't
great.
done that yet.
Well,
Yes.
or we,
No, that's okay.
our next guest too is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be up in like 3 minutes as well. So while you do that, I always have a various.
You always have something to
A sundry
share.
of color commentary. A sundry is your other word of the day, but
Ooh, spell that.
ASSUNDRY.
Thank you.
Various and a sundry. Okay, so where was I going? Oh,
Do you have other information to share?
right. Thanks to our sister and community news, Farmington Daily Times.
Yes.
I did read an article about Shiprock, which, of course, as far as cases per capita, the Navajo Nation surpassed New York State. So, which was the leader in
Right.
per capita cases.
New York
So-
State, New York City, or doesn't matter.
New York State.
Okay.
So,
Ouch.
ouch, yeah,
Yeah.
even worse.
Yeah.
And so, anyway, so the story, though, was all about, we've talked about the ancestral traditions and the elders passing on various words of wisdom as well as rituals, and that the younger generation has really taken that to heart during these times because the Navajo Nation has a long-standing history of being hit by a lot of outbreaks, Spanish influenza, meningitis, tuberculosis, those
Sure.
kinds of things.
Right.
And so they put their hands to the plow and they work the land. That's kind of, it was sort of like when the going gets tough, we get planting. So planting onions and things like that. And to the extent that, at least the family that was interviewed said we would have enough food at least up until the winter time, and of course weaving being a longstanding cultural tradition.
Sure, right.
Yes, so
True.
sort of swapping gears from weaving for artistry's sake to weaving for practical winter blanket sake. So
Interesting.
yeah,
Very, very cool. Well, there you go.
yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. And again, the Daily Times reported
Thanks
on
to the
that,
Daily
right?
Times. Yeah, it was a nice human interest story.
Very much so.
So, and I'm obsessed with rituals.
Yes.
So
I've heard that you are.
I've heard that you are.
So
That's right. That's
a-
right.
Well, that's
Well, it's a
important.
thing that because it's a reliable coping tactic of sorts that people can turn to during
Right.
bad times and good times.
Very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Well, interesting. Okay.
Cool.
Well, good. So I don't know, Mayor, maybe
Or cleaning guy.
somebody, clean guy. Good morning. You're on KSJE this morning.
Good morning, Scott Micklin. Nate Duckett, how are you?
Mayor Duckett, I am well. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for calling in this morning. And Megan Collip is here as well, Mayor. And we just wanted to kind of get an update from you about how you feel the city is doing during all this. We are starting to reopen, and I think that's something that you've been calling on for several weeks now.
April 14th, to be exact, Scott.
But who's counting? Yes.
See, the mayor and I count, Scott.
Okay, he does. Everyone knows
Good
that
morning.
I feel time is fluid, and I don't know what week it is. But go ahead, Mayor.
I'll tell you, these last 2 months have certainly flown by. I'm starting to wonder what day it is as well, Scott. So,
Understood.
but no, a lot of positive momentum out there right now within the business community, within our workforce. I think, we're looking at the restaurants specifically, talking to a few of them. Their evening time hours are a little bit slower than what they would like to have. But I think everybody's kind of building up. It was going to take a little bit of time for people to feel comfortable to maybe go back to doing some of the routines that they were doing before. I think that's to be expected when you've had this kind of shock to the system, so to speak. But those restaurants are open and they're ready and they're excited.
That's good.
Retail wise, I'm not hearing a lot from the retail side of it quite yet. I spoke with Jamie Church yesterday. We're going to get a little bit of an update from Jeff Ring and things that are going on at the mall and see how stores are doing there, and are all stores open now. I'm not sure that they all are. I mean, one of the things that happened, of course, is the announcement was made that we were going to be open on June 1st, and then a lot of people had to try and get their employees back and get things kind of operationally set up in order to be open. So I know some of that took a little bit of time, but yeah, everything's moving in the right direction.
Moving in that direction, which I know you're excited to see and happy to see, and that is the first step on some economic recovery for our city, for our community, correct?
Right. And Scott, we've spent a lot of time, you and I, talking about economic development, diversification, and that's kind of been the centerpiece of at least my term as both as a councilor and as mayor. We recognize that we need some other things in the mix, so to speak, for our workforce and for entrepreneurs to be doing, and to capitalize on the things that we have going on here in the Four Corners area, and specifically in the city of Farmington. And this virus, and then the stay-at-home orders and the shutdown of certain businesses, those things are just a setback. That's all they are. They're a setback. We were running full steam ahead. We're back up, and we're kind of in a jog right now. But I have no doubt that there's some good news coming up on the horizon, and I believe it's going to be a good catalyst for this area, and we're going to keep pushing through.
That's right. Persevering as Farmingtonians.
Yes.
Right?
That's what we do.
That's what we do. So at the same time, we are phasing into reopening. Of course, there were other issues that sprung up the past couple of weeks, and which, as you know, led to some demonstrations around town, which I think is difficult to reconcile with the physical distancing rules and stuff. And I know the governor released a statement. I don't know if you want to speak to these gatherings at all or not. I know it could be a sensitive topic, but
Mayor?
I mean, no, I think regardless of what these rallies are, individuals have a right to go out and utilize their First Amendment free speech rights. And I recognize that, and we can all recognize that in regards to mass gathering rules or social distancing rules, those kind of things are not necessarily happening 100% during these things. But people are people, and Americans have a right to go out and let people know this is how I feel. And there's been some very emotional things that have spurred forward these protests or these rallies. And frankly, it's probably healthy to get out some of that energy. And I speak of our rallies here locally, by the way, which were very, very peaceful. I'm not talking about anything else happening anywhere else.
I understand.
I'm talking about our people here in Farmington, San Juan County that have led peaceful demonstrations. And I think that's really important to emphasize, peaceful demonstrations.
I agree, Mayor, and I was going to say I was pretty proud of our community that we were able to gather and make our wishes known. Whether you're talking about maybe some of the more political gatherings or the Reopen New Mexico gatherings or things like that, and still keep it somewhat at least peaceful and didn't see some of the problems that we have seen in other parts of the country. So I think it shows that we can still share our views and maybe agree to disagree, but still do it peacefully.
I was just having this conversation with myself this morning, and it really doesn't matter what topic it is right now. I can stand up and say I love apple pie, and 50% of the people will stand up and say I don't like apple pie. I mean, there's nothing out there right now that's not divisive, and what we have to keep reiterating, Scott and Reverend Megan, you know this. I mean, when we talk about Civility First Farmington, we talk about the need to be tolerant and understanding and respectful and kind, and be a citizen, a good citizen. These aren't just things that we say. These are things that we have to act out and we have to be. And I think in these peaceful demonstrations, we have acted out those things. Now, there is always going to be a bad apple somewhere. And the bad apple is always going to take away from what that big message is. But we can't focus on the bad apple. I can remember sitting in school and there would be kids in the classroom who were bad apples. I didn't focus on that bad apple. I focused on the things I had to do and the things that were good to do. And I put that bad apple aside. And we can't allow one person's outrageous statements to overcome what the purpose of the overall message is. And the overall message has been a peaceful message, and I think we have to make sure we focus on that part of it and not the other part of it.
Very good. And Mayor, I wanted to ask you a bit about, again, as we reopen, and I think, again, we were all excited to see that our corner of the state was included with the rest of the state and kind of all going through this together now, and the numbers and all the gating criteria that the state is using to make some of these decisions that San Juan County shows that it has kind of gotten some things under control. But as we get out more and maybe reopen and support these local businesses and the local restaurants and the retail folks that you were talking about earlier. Again, there's a lot of conversations about masks and social distancing and things along that line, and a lot of the stores have made it some policies to wear a mask or not wear a mask, but don't we all need to be respectful of everyone's choices when they're getting out and about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think it comes down to each individual person's going to have their own perception of safety. And they need to do the things that are going to make them feel safe, and they want to be in places where they feel safe. And we've made this statement to the business owners that, your business is going to pick up much more quickly when you have those practices in place that make people understand that you care about their health and their safety and the health and safety of your employees. And so enacting some of these things are going to ensure that you get back up and running at full steam much quicker. But people's perceptions of safety are what's key, and being respectful of somebody in whatever way that they deem they need to feel safe is important. And for folks who still don't feel safe going out, I respect that. I totally respect that, because this is not a joke. People have gotten seriously ill from this, and people have died. So that has an impact on people's emotional states. It has an impact on their psyche, and it's going to take some time for may take longer for others to get back into the regular routine than it will for other people. And we just need to be respectful of that.
That's right. Understood. So let's talk about phase 2. We're in phase 1. I know that it's unrealistic to ask for sort of a drop date when it comes to when we can move into phase 2, but I'm wondering what kind of conversations are happening around phase 2 and what that would even look like and entail.
That's changing. It seems like every day, and we have a conference call with the governor's office tomorrow. So we'll get another little update this week on it, but July 1st seems to be the earliest that they're even considering any other movement, reopening certain segments of the economy, whether that be pools, recreation centers, the museum. We've really been pushing hard locally for the, a museum where you're looking at displays as opposed to interactive type things as we would have at our children's museum. We would like to see the Pro Football Hall of Fame exhibit that's sitting here at Farmington Museum. We'd love to be able to get people in there and view it, and we believe that we can safely do that. But those things are being pushed down to a July 1st timeline, and we'll just have to keep our eyes open on it. I would like to see a lot of different things happen, obviously, and that's not my decision to make. So we're just going to have to play the game and do the best we can to ensure that our businesses and our facilities and those things are ready to go as soon as possible.
Understood. And I know, Mayor, we've been talking with folks like Jamie Church from the Farmington Chamber of Commerce and others about some of the things that businesses can do to make customers feel safe when they come in to shop and resume some of their activities in restaurants and things, and even city facilities, too. I imagine there's a lot of work. We saw that the library reopened this week, which everyone, I think, is excited about, on a limited schedule and limited resources. Again, you can go in, check out books, and basically get in, get out. That's kind of the idea, but at least that's another sense of maybe starting to return back to normal. And so my question is, for city facilities, I imagine you all are trying to follow the same rules as your retail counterparts to make sure patrons feel safe when they return to these places to do what they need to do, correct? And the museum would be one of the other ones, too, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. We're going to abide by those same CSPs and make sure that everybody understands that we care about their safety, and we're going to put them we don't want to put them in a position where they have to feel like they have to compromise that in order to enjoy the facility. The other part too, of course, and this is the same thing that business owners are going through as well, is we're looking at the budget. We're trying to determine exactly where we're going to be at when we get this next gross receipts check, which should be coming in here in the next couple of weeks, that will show April activity. And so not only are we considering, what is the priority for the community to get certain facilities open, but also within the budget, how much staffing is it going to take to get that facility reopened? And then in regards to the COVID safe practices, how realistic can we implement those? What's the expense of implementing those? And so we're taking all of those things into consideration when we're looking at which facilities are going to be able to be open sooner than later. I obviously would like to see Bisti Bay get reopened before the end of the summer. We've got those great new slides that we put in, and would love to see that get used for at least part of the summer.
I agree. Every time I drive by, I see that facility, of course, and I know a lot of folks are probably hoping to get to use them this summer too, Mayor, but I know on the other side of that, you want to do it safely, and certainly that's an important thing. I don't know if you know the answer to this question, Mayor Duckett, but of course, San Juan College is canceled, and I think after long discussions, its fine arts schedule for the fall. The Civic Center, of course, has been building its programming, and of course had to cancel a lot of its events. Has there been any decisions yet about performing arts in the community, or is that something that you're following state directives on?
I don't have an answer for that, Scott. So I won't even.
Okay.
I won't even attempt to answer because I'm not sure at all.
Understood. But for the short term, at least, things are still canceled, obviously, at the Civic Center for gatherings and things like that. Yeah, until the mass gatherings number is allowed to be higher, it's going to be a little bit difficult to accommodate that. Hard to do a concert with 5 people, I understand, in the audience.
Yeah, it's a pretty special concert for those 5 people, though.
It really is. That's true, but the ticket price is a little steep.
Yeah, a little steep.
I get you. All right, Mayor. Well, we appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much for calling in. Is there anything else you wanted to add, a message to our listeners and viewers this morning?
Well, I would just say, Scott, for you and Rev Meg, just how much I appreciate that you've carried forward this mission since the beginning of this crisis, and have been a stable, respectable component of the information that's being put out there and allowing people to come and talk. And I just think it's really important that we have these types of things within a community, and you guys have done a fantastic job. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for saying that, Mayor. We appreciate it, and you are always great to call in. And of course, you're never a stranger, so we will talk to you again very soon.
Yes, sir. You all have a great day.
Thank you. You too. That is Farmington Mayor Nate Duckett, our guest here on KSJE on our local information program about COVID-19. So we appreciate that.
We do appreciate
good
that.
information, and again, these cities, these entities can only do what they're allowed to do from the state directives, as the mayor mentioned. So.
Right. It's a fine, and he's walking that balance of advocating and respecting and listening and advocating and heeding and it's just sort of like, monitoring the situation. That's got to, over time, get pretty exhausting. So, hats off to any city official that's finds themselves caught in the fray. I'm sure that when you run for mayor, you don't expect this.
No,
So.
I'm sure. Yeah. I don't think anyone expected a global
Right.
pandemic, but maybe they did. I don't know. But Nostradamus, where are you? But yeah, who knows?
I don't think he did.
I don't think
I
he
think
did.
people who study zoonotic diseases did. Remember what Dr. Greenberg said about that?
I remember zoonic. I'll never
Right,
forget
because we were
that.
both like
Zoology?
zoology, right?
No, that
And he's
can't
like,
be right.
I believe the word you're looking for is zoonic.
Yes,
yes,
Scott and Megan.
animal diseases that can pass to humans.
Right.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, animals. But anyway.
Thanks for that.
Exactly. I put up the phone number to see if anyone else wanted to call. I know we have another guest who's going to be calling in as well, and we have another caller.
Yes.
So as you're pointing to the phone, I can see that.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if you could see the light.
I can see the light.
I can always see the light.
Yes, you can. I know. And you help us all see it, so thank you. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. You're on KSJE. Thanks for calling in.
Good morning.
Hi, who's this?
This is Raymond Camacho with Stay Clean.
Hey, Raymond, thank you for calling in. We were hoping to hear from you today, and so we wanted to get you on the show to talk a little bit about your business, but in broader aspects too, just the whole idea of being of cleaning and being safe during these times when everyone, I think, is paying a lot more attention to cleaning and the amount of times we wash our hands and things along that line. So thank you very much for calling in.
Yes, and you are starting an industrial cleaning service, a sanitizing service. So go ahead and tell us a bit about your business, Raymond.
Yeah, it started kind of out of a feeling of helplessness once everything went into lockdown, and wondering what we could do to help get businesses reopened. And so we looked into the atomization and disinfecting processes, and we got tied in with a company that did that business already. And so we started working to get set up in our basin to be able to do that service, which is a disinfecting service where we come in and spray and disinfect. And then we have another process that we do after that where we lay down a protection layer that creates a bond and continues to kill after the fact for up to 90 days, which is pretty nice when you're thinking of, you've got employees out there spending their time, employers are paying them just to wipe down surfaces constantly and spray and disinfect. They can focus on other aspects and know that they're still protected and that the viruses are being killed, and they don't have to be sitting there spraying and wiping everything down constantly and worrying about that fact. So it just assists the businesses and small business opening back up and their customers coming in and feeling safe and knowing that there is a process that is in place that's helping to eliminate the risk factor.
And so, Raymond, you talked a little bit about the procedure. This is better than my mop in a bucket? Megan gets.
Yeah, well, we can get.
Thank you, Megan.
More coverage. So as we spray, the particles are falling and they're covering a lot more surface than what you're going to be able to get to with your mop and your bucket or your spray gun and your towel. You're hitting surfaces that you don't think about, that people are touching, that you don't think that you're. Of course, your door handles and stuff, you're going to be wiping those down, but the complete coverage is what really makes it quite a bit better and more effective.
So you mentioned atomization, which I want to hear more about that. And then I also want to hear about, so my business hires you, you come in, what does that look like? How long does that take? Is it like a subscription service? I mean, go into some of that.
A twofer.
Yeah, atomization is just taking the liquid and turning it into a finer mist. So we're putting it through a small orifice, and it's being forced out under pressure so that it makes that finer mist, and you get that finer cut, that better coverage with what you're doing. A lot of things, your fuel injectors in your car atomize the fuel so that it can combust in the chambers. There's a lot of different processes that utilize atomization. So it's not a new technology. It's been around for quite some time. People mist chemical into production lines, into the wellheads in the oil and gas industry. There's a lot of different ways that atomization is used to enhance the optimization of what you're putting through or putting into the line or into the atmosphere. So that's why we utilize that, so you get that good coverage. The second part, what was the second part of your question?
The second part was, if I'm a business and I hire you, what does it look like when you guys come in? And then is it like a subscription service where it's like or do you guys, do we hire you
One-time
once?
thing?
Or is it like, oh, you guys will come back every 90 days?
Either way that the customer would like to do it, if they would like to set it up on a 45-day or a 60-day or a 90, we would set up a recurring treatment so that we come in and it's just scheduled. It's coming in. You can do the pre-cleaning that makes it most effective for us to come in and do the job. We would do a one-time service if that's what the customer wants. Really, it's based upon what they would like. Now, we're going to come in. We're wearing full suits, our respirators, full Tyvek suits, our little booties on our feet so we're not dragging around. We have our units with hoses, and we come in and set up inside the facility, and we work our way in, or from the furthest point in, and we work our way out to the door. Once the spraying is done, it's typically 2 hours before we would recommend anybody going back in so that everything is inert at that point, and then you're ready to go back to work. There can be a little bit of cleanup afterwards, and that's not going to wipe anything off that we've done and treated. If you've got a dance studio with a bunch of mirrors and stuff, and we're misting those mirrors or the bars inside of there that somebody may be touching, you might want to get your Windex out and clean that so it's not foggy looking. But for most of the applications that we see, it clears up pretty clean, and people are able to go right back to work.
Interesting. And so obviously this sounds like some new technology that you are using with your business. And you mentioned, I think, at the beginning that that some of the products you use keep cleaning even after you're kind of done. Is that kind of what we're talking about here too?
Yeah, it continues to kill viruses and bacteria and germs for up to a 90-day period. What it does is it lays down a layer of nanospikes. So if you have a cell that falls on it, it ruptures the cell, ruptures the membrane, and kills the virus or the germ or the odor-causing bacteria. That's what it does. So it is technology that has been out there, but it's never been more in need now.
That's amazing. I'm loving the science of all of this. Like, I was not expecting this full-scale science lesson.
You're right.
When we're talking about this cleaning business, but
I want you to use nanospikes in a sentence today.
I will.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like, as Raymond Camacho said.
Well, that's okay. That counts.
I was like, talking over here. I'm like, why don't we should have had this forever, right? Like, this is a great idea for any time, but particularly right now.
Sure.
Particularly now, yes. And as I said, kind of a sense of helplessness. I have an oil and gas business that, when everything got so slow and the lockdown and then oil went down, we're sitting here going, what are we going to do? There's nothing we really can do at this point in time. And so that was really one of the big motivators. And we started doing a lot of research in how we could assist in this process to make it a safer place, because we needed to go back to work.
Got it. And, well, good for you. I mean, again, and it's all about entrepreneurship and small businesses, and that's kind of what drives a lot of these local economies.
Sure, seeing the need.
Yeah, absolutely. Sitting at home for 2 months was not ideal for many of us, and if we can assist in feeling a little bit more comfortable about going into places and helping businesses reopen safely, that's what we're all about right now.
Got it. And so, and Raymond, we've heard that, there's cleaning too, like with UV lights and things like that, but your product is different, right? It's mostly just substances or liquids that you're atomizing and spraying around, right?
Yes, it is a liquid that we mist into the atmosphere that falls down upon all the surfaces and creates that bond. And you don't have to do the extra step with the protection layer. You can just do a disinfectant service, and we come in and spray everything down and kill everything, and that is one more cost-effective service, but you kind of have to take all of what it's costing you right now to do what you're doing, and if it's worth it to you to take the next step and do the protective layer as well that's going to continue on. So that's another option with the service. You don't have to go full scale with it. You can just do a disinfectant service and then continue with what you're doing, with having your employees continue to do what they were doing as well. But just knowing that you had a good fog come in and wipe out all the viruses that are there at that moment. But over time, that disinfectant doesn't last and continue. It's a two-part process.
I see. Got you. And so again, this is you're marketing this more towards the business community, but would homeowners benefit too, or is that a little overkill?
Absolutely. Yes. It is completely safe to put into homes.
And pets and things too, I suppose.
You want to have your pets, anything living that's going to be in there. You want to have it not be treated. So you want your dogs and cats and stuff out of there for that 2-hour period for either service, whether it's just disinfecting or we go ahead and do the protection on it.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
That's definitely, if they want residential, business, it's a hospital-grade disinfectant that we use. So clinics, there's a lot of, it's endless where you could actually be spraying and be safe.
Very good. Well, Raymond Camacho, we appreciate you calling into the program today, and good luck with your business. You've been open now for how long?
Oh, we're just now going on a month, so
okay.
Yeah, we're picking up steam right now, and we're excited about it.
Brand new.
On.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing that story and with us, and good luck to you. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Love it.
Interesting.
This is like, for me, this is like the best of inspirational stories, you know?
Right.
We're feeling hopeless and dejected.
Right.
What can we do? And then to create from nothing something that's successful and
Well, we
helpful.
know the challenges that the oil and gas business has been going through, and so here's a gentleman who, sitting at home and then figuring what can I do, and then voila, here you go.
Creates something of utmost value. So entrepreneurship at its finest.
Right.
I do see a comment. What's the name? State cleaning.
State cleaning.
State cleaning.
Not estate cleaning, but state cleaning.
State cleaning, not estate cleaning.
Yes,
yeah.
State cleaning.
State
and we'll put it in the comments of our program once we go off the air here in a second. So, but that's great. And I know Raymond is new, and there are a lot of other cleaning companies out there that have been in business for years and years and years. So, but we wanted to kind of just highlight him because he's this entrepreneur, figured out what to do.
That's right.
So that was the reason for having him on the show, but we
Right.
appreciate that. So that's great. Very good. Well, phone lines are open. If you all want to call in and give us a number to spell or a letter to spell or a word to spell,
Give us
what it would be.
a
Or a number
letter to spell.
5,925.
Yeah.
But 566-3909. But in addition to that, we can talk about tomorrow's show. We're going to be talking with a local doctor. Again, we love talking to doctors on Thursdays.
I love talking to doctors.
Yes.
Dr. Singleton.
Dr. Sugar Singleton will be calling in and talking with us a little bit about her work during this whole time of COVID. And so we're looking forward to speaking with her and getting some information about the reopening of the Health and Human Performance Center here at San Juan College tomorrow.
That's right.
They reopened this week, and I think other gyms and things are open as well. So we're excited to talk to them a little bit about what that means and what patrons can expect to see when they come on campus to go back to the HHPC and work off that Quarantine 15. Yes, there you go. So there's all that. So there you go. Oh, it's Stay Clean. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, especially if that's Nicole Clark commenting.
Do we think?
She was our contact that
I gotcha.
hooked us up with Raymond.
Well, there you go.
Stay clean. Sorry, I have a subtle hearing loss.
Oh, now you tell me.
Yeah.
Well, that explains a lot. Okay.
That's why I'm a loud talker. That's my excuse.
Oh. Well, now it all makes complete sense, everybody. Okay, got it. So there you go. Well, we appreciate him calling in, and I'm sorry for the mislabeling of his business. But
Stay clean. 505-801.
1128.
and then at
Stay Clean
underscore LL. We don't both need to be.
There you go. Well, I know you are reading that for the radio audience.
I am reading it for the radio audience.
Appreciate that,
exactly.
and the radio audience appreciates that.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
So there you go. And we're assuming that that's Raymond's number, but I think it is.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Great.
Well, I think we are done for today. We've kind of shared, I think, all we were going to share today. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yep.
So there you go. So we'll be back tomorrow.
Back tomorrow.
Okay. Very
See you
good.
then.
Everybody stay well and stay safe. This is KSJE.